There are likely as many varied opinions on the validity of the accuracy of the tri-state fertilizer recommendations as there are farms and soil types. No matter what that opinion may be from field to field, it's hard to deny that the document has had an incredible impact on crop production in Ohio. The tri-state fertilizer recommendations for corn, soybeans, wheat, and alfalfa were first published in 1995.
20 years ago is 20 years. That's a fairly long time. We've got systems now that are quite a bit different than they were 20 years ago. We grow beans quite a bit differently than we did 20 years ago. That was before glyphosate-resistant crops, BT crops were out, and soybeans were grown 30-inch rows. Now they're drilled in at much 15 or 7.5 inches typically. So things have changed. There's a lot more conservation tillage that's out there. So our cropping systems are a little different now than they were 20 years ago. So we're intending to kind of look at that and see if anything's changed in terms of fertilizer requirements.
The way research is done this time around will be a little bit different, and Ohio soybean farmers will play a big part.
Back 30, 40, 50 years ago, a lot of the research was done on Ohio State-owned university stations, so OSU-owned farms. We don't really have the luxury to kind of wait for 5, 10, 15 years to get data, and also we want to really try to capture a larger diversity of soil types, managements, and how soils and managements interact. And so we are going on farm in large strip trials and also kind of smaller strip trials, but it's all replicated, and trying to cast a broad net and get a good representation of what's out there in the state in terms of farms and soil types and cropping systems.
Coleman talks about the steps that go along with this research.
One of the key things that we're trying to find out on your farm, on a grower's farm, is will adding fertilizer give you a yield bump? Will it give you an agronomic response? And so what we do is we go out and we soil test, and we can work directly with growers. We can work through an ag retailer or whoever. We've got a number of different possibilities here. But we'll go out and we'll take a pre-plant soil test. Then we apply a fertilizer treatment, so a strip of fertilizer and a strip of non-fertilized. The farmer can pick the crop they want to work with. They can pick the nutrient or nutrients they want to look at. So that's after the soil test, the fertilizer is applied, it's planted, and then we go back in there, we take an early season or mid-season leaf tissue test, and then finally we take yield data at the end to see if there was an agronomic response to that fertilizer. And finally we take a small amount of grain and we analyze that for nutrient content too. So there's really just in the beginning of the season, mid-season, and then at harvest, three times that we're asking the farmer to kind of go out and do something that they otherwise wouldn't be doing.
In Ohio, projects like this are more important than ever.
It's obvious that nutrient management and fertilizer use is kind of under a spotlight these days, and we're really, even though this project is agronomically based, we're looking to look at, does fertilization increase crop response? We believe that the idea of collecting this data and the project in general is going to lead to better nutrient use across the state. We're going to have a lot better information in terms of when you will see a yield response to a fertilization event and when you won't. And so we're intending that kind of new and up-to-date information and hopefully capture quite a bit, have it be very robust across a number of different farms. Help that grower manage risk and just manage their nutrients better overall. So when they need to apply and when they don't, essentially.
The relationship that the Ohio State University has with the Ohio Soybean Council is key to successes in the research fields.
It's just been really great to come into an environment like this where we've got a very good working relationship with the Soybean Council and a lot of support in terms of working with a diverse team here at Ohio State, but also other players, other stakeholders throughout the state. And Soybean Council, Ohio Soybean Council helps facilitate some of that. And it's just without the checkoff dollars, doing this work wouldn't wouldn't get funded. It literally would not get done because of the funding sources federally or on the state level just simply aren't there. And so it's really important, in my mind, to come into an environment like this in order for this work to happen. So it's been great.